Welcome everyone. As the recording of this, it is Friday, December 17th, 2021, and TheDailyWoo here. I have returned to Dezerland Action Park, Orlando, Florida, right on International Drive. Now, I was here 11 months ago, give or take, January of 21, the start of this year, when they opened not only the action park, but also the automobile museum section. But I'm back to get a early entry guided tour. Some of the nooks and crannies of the screen-used automobiles. I'm excited about this. I love movies, I love film, I love the history of it, and gonna make some classic car alerts in there as well. I'm inviting you to join me. Shall you? It's about 8:47 a.m. They don't open for a couple of hours. You see the sun starting to rise there above the building. It's been a number of different malls over the years before Dezerland took over and opened about a year ago. And also inside, which I will not be showing, I'll be focusing mostly on the vehicles, is a bowling alley, an arcade, a pinball museum.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm the main tour guide and curator. I kind of jokingly refer to myself as the tour-rater of Dezerland Action Park Auto Museum. It's a new term. I think it tour guide, curator, tour-rater.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. I've never been in this room. I've never been back in this room before. Wow.
Welcome to the largest private-owned James Bond collection in the world! And it's pronounced Dezerland, just for...
Oh, I said Deezer, so it's Dezer.
So,
okay.
As I have understood, Mr. Dezer over the years has changed pronunciations as he sees fit, because he's the billionaire. So,
sure.
But it's Michael Dezer. Originally Michael Dezer Talk, but he dropped the TZOV off his name when he immigrated to this country from Tel Aviv, Israel, back in the 1970s. And among other things, he's a James Bond nut. So now he has the largest private collection of screen-used James Bond vehicles in the world. This particular room of 47 vehicles is valued at, are you gonna want, I love doing this, is valued at $100 million. And
just this one room.
Just this one room, 47 vehicles. That is the Goldfinger jet and the American President's jet. But it's not the actual jet. This is a reproduction of the most bizarrely grand scale. So in the film, they cheated you. There's no actual jets in the film. The Lockheed Jetstar they use in the film is a scale model about yay big, painted on either side, like Goldfinger's jet and the President's jet, saw it from two different angles. This is an actual Jetstar, which there are about 731 still in flight, but they're only private jets because these things are massive fuel hogs. They were made in the late 60s through the 70s. On one side we have the American President's jet, and on the other side we have Goldfinger's private jet.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh wow.
And people are always asking me, like, come on, ask me, how did we get it in here?
You know what I'm wondering? How did you get this in here?
Well, Mr. Dezer is basically Goldfinger. This is his lair. The roof opens up. No, on all honesty, they took the thing apart, knocked down a couple of walls, moved it in, reassembled. And they did this twice. They did this down in Miami when this was the Miami Auto Museum collection. And now he moved it up here, and now it's the Orlando Auto Museum collection, and there is no Miami Auto Museum to be confused.
Gotcha.
There is a Dezerland Park Miami, but that's just all attractions. The most valuable car in the entire collection is, without a doubt, this 1964 Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger. This has the bulletproof deflector paint in the back. On the taillights, they open up for oil jet sprayers. There's a smoke screen built in. It drops cat drops like road spikes. In the front, you've got twin wing 308 machine guns. On front and back, there are rotating license plates, valid in all countries, of course. You've got England, rotates over to France, rotates over to Switzerland. You know, valid in all countries featured in the film.
Excellent.
It's got the ejector seat, which is non-functional, but the roof does open. And probably the coolest thing to deal with your road rage, you've got tire rippers.
Oh, wow.
That extend out from the hubcaps.
Screen used, too, in the movie.
Sean Connery-driven screen use. Sir Sean Connery.
Yes!
That's Mr. Shaken Not Stirred himself. This is a mannequin.
Okay, gotcha.
Mannequins are made out of fiberglass or plastic. This is a waxwork figure, the vintage version. The new Madame Tussauds, mostly acrylic. These are actually wax, hand-painted glass eyes, real human hair, and little known fact, Sean Connery at the age of 17 was going bald, so through the entire course of his James Bond career, he's wearing a wig. They only made in hardtops. They made only 3 convertibles. The reason why they made the convertibles is because Sean Connery was too tall to fit in the standard car. Only of the 3, this is only one of 3 of those that got the gadgets installed. And these surveillance gadgets, this isn't just prop, that's functional. That is a telephoto surveillance camera, and you have a 2-way communication device with video and audio. They consider this car priceless. They will not appraise it. However, when Mr. Dezer bought it at auction, it went for $6.3 million. Now it's worth about 5 times that at auction, at least. This Glastron boat from Live and Die year 1973, this is one of the 2 boats that holds the Guinness World Record for longest jump from canal to canal. They shot that in South Florida. There's a scene where Bond is being chased in a red Glastron boat, and 2 black Glastron boats are pursuing him. One makes the jump and does not clear it for comedic effect, crashes into a sheriff car. The other one clears it in one piece, and this is the one, this is the chase boat.
That is something else, man.
This is Bond nerd heaven for me. This is one of the reasons why I took the job.
I could see why. And as I stated, I've never even been back in this room. You were saying it opened 2 months ago.
About, a little over. But the Roger Moore generation, this was the car.
Who's your favorite Bond? Just curious.
It's a tie between Connery and Moore, because those were my first 2.
True.
Always hands down my favorites. So this is the memorabilia collection. These cases contain everything and anything that was ever made in the name of James Bond or Ian Fleming or Eon Productions. There are movie props in these cases, there are costumes, there are so many toys. Here's my notes. Light this up.
Incredible. I never knew this was all back here.
We've got everything from Odd Job's hat over here at the end, the one with the blade in the brim.
Ah, yes. Spoofed in Austin Powers as Random Task.
Yes. Mike Myers' performance, his characters in Austin Powers, is a direct ripoff of an early parody of Ian Fleming's Casino Royale book.
Really?
Yes. The film was Casino Royale by Charles Feldman in 1967, and David Niven played James Bond.
From Pink Panther.
Yes, and from Pink Panther, from so many British films. Sterling silver and a rhodium inlay. 500 pieces. I have number 71 and number 69. Number 69 is for sale. Buy one, keep one. Or sell one, keep one. But this is the actual ring. This is why I had to have it, because I'm mere inches away from the actual film prop. So just to show how much area we're covering, we are currently here in the Bond Museum. We're in this little bit right back here.
Okay.
And this is just one exhibit. The museum is all the dark area up here in the back, which is roughly 1/3 of the property, this 822,000 square foot facility. I'll show you the one lighting effect.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which makes it very impressive, at least I think so.
Nice.
It just looks so much cooler with up.
Yeah, it really does. The Dragon tank. Oh, the Dragon boat or Dragon tank? What is it called?
In German, it's the Drachenpanzer. Which
The
is
Drachenpanzer, okay.
I like it. So,
I like
there's a shot of it with
some
the
screen
flames,
grabs there, yeah.
So in the next room, this giant tank that everybody sees that's located behind our bomb lounge bar. You can get tanked by the tank. That's my joke. But that is a real T-55 Russian tank. It's one of the 4 stunt tanks used in GoldenEye, the one with Pierce Brosnan.
And not only early entry, I'm getting the red carpet treatment right now.
Our entryway to the Orlando Auto Museum, home of the Michael Dezerland collection.
It's incredible how much I've already shown, and now we're starting. Incredible.
People ask me, how many cars does Mr. Dezerland have? And that's kind of a tough question right now. One we have to ballpark. Mr. Dezerland, it is safe to say, has well over 2,000 vehicles and growing. His world here actually...
It does have a very Benny the Cab. Is it Benny the Cab from
Benny,
Roger Rabbit? Benny the Cab, look.
I'm wondering if that may be where they pulled it from.
It could be.
Because this is way older.
Okay.
And the monkey wasn't part of it. I put that in there because he was in some other vehicle and I thought,
sure,
where to stick him, you know?
In the
old animatronic monkey.
Animatronic?
In a karate gi. Yeah,
old animatronic monkey in a karate gi.
Piaggio invented what we now think of in modern culture as the motor scooter. They wanted to make an alternative to motorcycles. They wanted to make something completely new. They actually hired a designer that was publicly known to hate motorcycle design. He hated the chain, he hated the grease, he hated the dirt that they picked up, he hated the complexity of changing a rear tire. So he created a vehicle that had the transmission pushed all the way to the back so that the rear wheel is attached directly to the transmission. There's no chain anymore. To change the tire, you just take it off and put it back on. No dirt, no grime. And when one of the heads of Piaggio first saw the prototype, he said, I'm trying to remember the correct pronunciation, Sembra una Vespa, which translates to, it looks like a wasp.
It looks like a wasp.
Because it's got the narrow middle and the big back end.
Yeah.
So Vespa stuck as the name. And since their launch, everybody went mad with these things.
Oh yeah.
A year later, another Italian company came out with their clone of a Vespa, and that was Lambretta.
The Lambretta.
After the movie Roman Holiday came out with Gregory Peck and Katharine Hepburn,
yep,
the world went crazy with Vespas. This is Mr. Michael Dezerland on his 80th birthday card. His birthday is April 1st, 1941. American guests often ask me, April 1st, April Fool's Day, right? No, he's from Israel. They don't, on there, it was just Tuesday.
They don't celebrate April Fool's Day.
Exactly. That's an American thing.
No fooling.
So the first time Mr. Dezerland had his collection in a museum was in New York, in the building that is now known as the Manhattan Motorsports Company, a building which he owns, by the way. Mr. Dezerland is a real estate developer. Dezerland Properties owns a huge amount of buildings. These figures were in his original museum in New York. And they have traveled with every incarnation of this museum. And now they are the guardians, the threshold guardians, if we're going to go with Happy Gilmore and all that, of the Duesenberg room. It's like a blast of the past. Is this like we're going right to the video of the last time you hear
11 months ago.
You have the 1901 horseless carriage, and next to it another 1901 horseless carriage, which is incorrect. This is a 1901 horseless carriage. This is a Surrey carriage. The Surrey Carriage Company is still in business today. They started with horse-drawn carriages, and then they moved to motor carriages. This is a 4-horsepower Surrey carriage. And nowadays, when you hear about a Surrey carriage, you see them, but you don't know what they are. You ever see those like beach resorts and things that have those 4-seater bicycle carriages
Yes.
with the stripes?
Yes.
Those are Surrey carriages.
They are, okay.
So the company is still in business. Now, the Bonnie and Clyde death car, the very car that ended the illustrious career of Bonnie and Clyde.
And of course I know, and you know, and other people might know, not true. This is not the car that they passed away in.
But it is on the official record.
That is in Primm, Nevada.
Which is about 30 miles outside of Vegas. This is a replica, and this is one of the 3 types of replicas that you run into of Bonnie and Clyde death cars. There are vintage replicas of the original car, like you see at Whiskey Pete's. There are movie versions of the 1967 movie one, which is a yellow version of that very car. Now, this is the 3rd variation of replicas where before the internet, when people used photographs and newspaper print,
Over there on the wall, yeah.
this is a copy, this is a replica based off one of the photographs of Bonnie and Clyde and one of the various Ford motor cars. This is a Ford Model A.
Okay.
And these bullet holes are made with a tire iron.
Oh, okay. Because they're
chunk.
they're really large.
They're diamond shaped. I was climbing between both of these cars to do a little spring cleaning. You know, they do collect dust like the Dickens, you know? And I slipped and fell, and my arms went flailing. I was reaching for anything I could to keep me from falling because I'm 50, and if I fall and break a hip, you know, I'm done. And my hand hit this, the horn, and it works. Welcome to the darkness of the Orlando Auto Museum. Yeah, a little haunted house humor there. You know, I used to work in haunted houses.
You told me you used to work at Skull Kingdom?
Skull Kingdom?
Yes.
Terror on Church Street.
Oh, you worked there?
Halloween Horror Nights number 13. The Caretaker. Scream House Revisited.
Ooh, I gotta get this fact here.
Oh yes, in Scream House 2003, Halloween Horror Nights 13, I did a TV spot for a little bit in Tampa called The Spot, and I scared the crap out of the host. She was sitting on the doorstep, and I came up behind her and I said, "Get out! Get out of my house now!" The Green Hornet television series.
So this is screen used.
This is screen used, and screen driven, most likely by Bruce Lee himself.
No kidding.
It was built by Dean Jeffries and George Barris. Dean Jeffries started it, George Barris finished it, and Barris often took credit for a lot of cars he worked on with Dean Jeffries. It's well known.
Sure.
But it has all the great gadgets, from the machine guns and the gas sprayer in the front to the grenade launcher, and I love it. Retractable brooms behind the wheels that it was being chased, he'd release a smoke cloud, and then he'd deploy the brooms, peel off into a secret area, and when the cloud dispersed, no tire trees.
Is this Dukes of Hazzard? Oh, this is Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes.
Yes.
Screen used from the television series.
What? How have I never seen this?
You saw this.
Is this
one.
Roscoe's?
This is Roscoe P. Coltrane, James Best.
Yes.
Now, they used this car in later seasons, but you see it in every episode. They shot test footage, and they used one of the test footage loops in every episode. The end credit sequence.
This is the one?
This is the car you see at the end credits every time. And it's autographed by James Best.
No kidding. Like he signed like the dashboard. Where did he sign?
He signed on the dashboard. Hang on. Here. VIP. Or actually, would you be a VIA?
VIA?
Or VIV, very important atom, or very important vlogger. So there's his autograph right there. Don't
it's down there
through the reflection.
Kind of see it. Yeah, it's kind of inscribed right there. That's cool.
Now, that General Lee, that's one of the screen used 291 cars.
There's a lot of them.
291, which averages out to about 6 wrecked cars an episode. Now, here's a funny thing. some of the editors suggested they stop going through cars and start just re-editing shots.
Yeah.
I didn't get that information from the internet. I got that information from my father. He was an editor on the Dukes of Hazzard, among other cars that we will mention. I will mention because my father passed away 3 years ago.
He was an editor on Dukes of Hazzard.
He was a motion picture sound and film editor, Jeffrey L. Sandler, MPSE. You can find him most likely by looking up connection to the Blues Brothers, for which he got the Golden Reel Award, the only editor award that year. So this is one of the Screen News generalies. It was
297?
291.
291.
Average about 6 wrecks an episode if you do the math. So the few that have been restored have only been restored up to the condition they were last seen on screen ends.
Gotcha.
So not full restorations. The hood is all original, but it had massive bodywork. And a really fun fact, so the paint job on the roofs, the name generally in this particular condition got scuffed, but they can't reproduce that. So they screen captured and reproduced a decal version of it scuffed.
I like that. That's attention to detail right there.
I'll give you a little hint. Good morning, Michael.
Oh, there we go. It's Kit.
It is Kit. This, I'll go and turn on the light so you can see the whole thing.
K-I-T-T, Kit.
Yes, let me do the voice. I am the voice of the Knight Industries 2000 microprocessor. K-I-T-T for short. Kit, if you prefer.
Is this from Terminator 3?
Terminator 3, the fall of the franchise is the fan.
Now see, I was just in Branson at the car museum there.
They have 5 of them.
There's a few of them. They have one, and they also said to tell you hello, Andy, there at the museum. But they also have one, and they said that theirs isn't the only one, so you guys have another one.
There are, as far as I understand, there are about 5 of them because they had different ones for different shots.
Yeah.
This one is completely gutted out. This was a special effects shot. So they wanted it to be safe because Ani was inside.
Ani?
Ani.
That's right, Ani. Right
The
there.
governor.
Right there. That's right there. Come on.
Do you want to sit in the car?
Yes.
Yes, we do have an Ani mask.
That's right. It's a mask?
It's a mask. Go ahead. You can put it on.
It's on?
Yeah, it's only been worn by a mannequin.
I'm looking for Sarkana. I was told she was here. Can I see her, please?
That is great. Come on, do the come with me if you want to live.
Come on, come with me if you want to live. Give me your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
This is so cool.
So it's been completely gutted out. If you got light, the insides have been completely gutted out for weight. This was towed by, I believe, by the camera truck. Here, there's a little light. You can see it's completely bare bones behind the seat. Actually, if you aim over behind the seat, it is completely gutted. The only thing, there was a battery in it to operate some of the effects that were in the vehicle. It's one of the 5 Screen News Knight Rider cars. This is one that was exempt to the destruction of the original 23 cars that were on loan from Pontiac.
Yeah.
This one was actually built by George Barris Customs, and this was one of his personal Firebirds that he turned into the 24th car. It's listed with the Knight Rider historians who have been more than instrumental in helping me restore Kit's functions, like the scanner light, which is actually 8 halogen brake lights linked together in sequence, and the click-clacking you hear, that's the relay circuits.
So there's 5 originals.
There's 5 originals remaining out of the 23 provided by Pontiac, and this is the 24th provided by George Barris.
I believe Joey Fatone from NSYNC owns one, I believe. He's taking them to car shows and stuff. I don't know if he's got one of the 5.
Check with the Knight Rider historians.
They would know.
Yes. The big red one next to it is the infamous boat car from the Knight Rider 2000 TV movie, which is now on Netflix.
Oh, it's filmed in San Antonio.
San Antonio,
That's the one that went through the Riverwalk.
Went through Riverwalk.
Riverwalk.
And then sank when they stopped.
Wow, that's the one.
It's not a real car. It's a fiberglass shell copy
Sure.
of the car, which was based on I believe it was on a Banshee, was the basis of this one. And this is mounted on a skiff, a John boat. But the body was too heavy for the boat. It took on water, and when it stopped, it sank.
So this was in the Riverwalk River.
And in the film, which is currently available on Netflix, Knight Rider 2000, 1991. Now, this one is one of the Knight Rider touring replicas that the studios made to lease out to car shows.
Okay.
This one was in Australia for a year before Hasselhoff bought this car and 3 of its brethren to take across Germany on the Night Rocker tour.
Night Rocker?
That was basically Michael Knight as a rock star performing David Hasselhoff's original songs on stage. That's why there's a museum in Germany dedicated to the Hoff. Read the poster. What is it? You said Michael Jackson's Soul Train. What does the poster say?
Michael Jackson.
And Soul Train.
Right.
It's a tribute to Michael Jackson's performances on Soul Train.
Okay.
As he was the number one most popular guest.
When I was here a year ago, I said it was Michael Jackson's
Soul Train, as most people do.
Okay.
They see that and they put an apostrophe S on it in their heads.
Yeah.
The car is a tribute to Soul Train because there was no actual car. Another J. Oberst.
That Michael Jackson was on.
Right. And funny thing on the poster, where there was some eccentricities in the art department back in 2011. Michael Jackson's head on Angel of the X-Men's body.
Oh, right there, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the artist was trying to go with maybe his Rhythm Nation or maybe
Sure.
Captain EO uniform, but couldn't find a picture. You remember something and then you put together the best you can, but
Yeah.
it's funny and we're leaving it.
Now, I'm really interested in the Indiana Jones vehicles you
Okay.
have over here.
So, the Mercedes Jeep and the motorcycle, those are from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
The first Raiders, one of the best movies ever made.
Yes.
Raiders of the Lost Ark,
And this one is from the worst Indiana Jones film ever made,
the one with the aliens.
Crystal Skull.
Never
This
saw
is
it.
the one, this is technically, the Germans in the beginning are pretending to be Americans to steal something from Area 51, and this is the Jeep they're driving.
When they made Last Crusade, that was my last indie film.
I'd
I-
high five, but we're both carrying
This-
coffees. There we go. So this was in 2 films. This was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is part of the Ark transport convoy. This is the Jeep in the back with the four Nazis with the machine gun. The one that the little model version goes off the cliff.
Yes, yes.
And the bike is doing patrol security, perimeter security
Around it, yep.
Right. So there's
Both screen used.
Yes. And there's another famous film, not Indiana Jones, that this is a big vehicle in. Did you ever see Val Kilmer's first film, Top Secret?
I did see that.
This is the Pinto Explosion German Jeep.
Okay.
The one that breaks to a halt and there's a little...
Slowly moves.
And it blows up. That's what all the fire damage on the car is
Wasn't
from.
there a character in that called Latrine?
Yes.
Which
He was
is-
the one that shot the car, the
So-
African-American gentleman.
Yes, that's right. I vaguely remember. I remember it being very funny, very similar to the Leslie Nielsen Naked Gun movies. Very similar kind of comedy
Yes.
to that.
Tongue-in-cheek, makes fun of itself, makes fun of other genres.
So you could, if you watch the clips from Raiders, you could see this car as they're driving in.
And if you watch the scene, actually the Google search is Top Secret Pinto Explosion, and it's the second video that you see on the list. These are not the bikes from Lawnmower Man because they weren't in Lawnmower Man. These were in about 15 seconds of Lawnmower Man 2, the straight-to-video sequel.
Okay.
Just wanted to correct that one. This is not one of those random 18 van replicas.
Yes.
This is one of the 2 surviving stunt vans. You remember the scenes of the tire burnouts?
I do.
They would attach
Yeah.
cables to the ring, heft up the back of the van just enough, do a burnout,
Oh yeah, right there's the ring.
and reuse that shot over and over again. And
Okay, so they'd hoist this up by this little...
by these eye-rings,
Okay.
and they would spin the tires just a little bit to do a burnout, a perfect burnout. And then when you see the show, they do the burnout shot, and then you do a cut to
It driving
it
off.
actually driving off.
So they'd have a crane. This would be just taking it like a half an inch off the ground.
Yes.
The camera would be low down like this.
It's actually it was the
Like
burnout
this?
was dead on the tire.
Okay, so it'd be like that. And then just spinning it. Just enough to where the van wouldn't drive off, but you could burn out the tire.
My dad worked on the A-Team too. He worked for Universal for about a decade. That's where I had my lunches.
B.A. Baracus would be behind the wheel.
Yes.
Well, probably a stunt driver when they were doing that one.
Yeah.
But Mr. T probably was not behind this particular one, but well, maybe he was. It's got his name right here on the side. Now, why does it say Mr. T on the side of this?
All right, so a lot of these vehicles that are not hero vehicles, that are secondary vehicles, stunt vehicles, things like that, what car collections will do is, so people will help remember, they will do things like they'll put whoever was the driver on the side, or the name of the decals with the name of the show on the windscreen.
Just to jar
things like
people's
that.
memories.
Exactly. So, quick repetition. Screen used Jeep Willie from Fantasy Island.
Okay, I was mentioning Fantasy Island earlier, and you have a screen used Fantasy Island.
That's one of the Jeeps.
Mr. Rourke.
This was not the one that Mr. Rourke was in, nor the one that the Tattoo was in, because he had a littler Jeep, smaller. This is one of the ones that they drove around the celebrity guests. You know, because every episode they had a celebrity guest. This is one of the celebrity guest Jeeps.
So this would have been the one that they had at the Botanical Gardens in LA. What's it called? There's a name for it, but it's in LA where they film, where they have the cottage and all that. This would have been the one driving around that cottage.
Have you seen My Dinner with Hervé? The docudrama.
I have not seen it.
Excellent. Peter Dinklage plays Hervé, and he is excellent.
Okay.
The Ghostbusters car.
Arboretum, the Los Angeles Arboretum. That's what I'm thinking of.
The Ghostbusters Ecto 1. This is not one of the screen-used Ecto 1s.
Okay.
There are only 4 of those now. Dan Aykroyd has 1, and Sony has the other 3. There were 2 until they, they changed one for Afterlife. Excellent film. This is one of 4 exact replicas known to exist in this country. It was made for a Cancer Foundation charity event and auctioned off.
All right.
The Slimers added in. Corey, one of our other guides, our resident Ghostbusters expert, he made that for Halloween for his house, and we put it here for Halloween, and we've kept it up because, well, I personally think, do you know Strong Bad?
I do, yeah.
To me, it looks like a Strong Bad version of Slimer.
That's old school internet.
Can you see the resemblance?
I kind of see it, yeah. Strong Bad was red, correct?
Yes, he is, but it looks like that kind of style of the animation they use, because they use pieces hooked together, that flash animation. That is the original Grease Lightning. That is the real Gadgetmobile from both films.
This is the original Grease Lightning.
The original Grease Lightning. Hydromatic, Powermatic, and Automatic, which you cannot have all of in the same car, because one of those sayings means manual transmission, and you can't be a manual and an automatic transmission in the same thing.
So screen used.
Screen used.
That's something else.
Oh, and these are going to be the new faceplates. We're going to have pictures of the car, information about what type of car is, and if it's referenced in a movie, TV show, or historical, and then information, which we're going to actually redo this information sheet, and then there will be QR codes that you just scan and it takes you right to video and additional pictures.
I like that.
We are changing the whole thing. We're in that process.
So this is from
Inspector Gadget 1 and 2.
Oh, and both of them.
The one with Matthew Broderick and the one with French Stewart, who I thought was visually the better looking to be an Inspector Gadget.
I did not see the sequel. I saw the Broderick one.
Yeah, his performance is a little off, and they made a female Inspector Gadget go with him. but they used the same car and they repainted it for the second one. So much time, so little to see. Wait, strike that, reverse it.
I'm loving all the movie references, the Willy Wonka.
I am the Willy Wonka around here of sorts. I'm not wearing my Willy Wonka hat as I normally am.
So Dragula, is this the Dragula?
No, but it's just as good. So the original Dragula dragster made for the film Monster Go Home, which there's a picture of actually behind you, which I will have moved eventually. The original car was made by Dick Dean, who was the builder for George Barris. This is the tribute that he made to his own car. And I said that right. Dick Dean made a tribute to his own car at Dean Customs in Los Angeles. And this is not just a replica for tribute. This is a real dragster. This is a functional car. That's a real engine. That is not fake engine like on the Monkeys Mobile behind you. That is a fake mock-up engine on top of the real engine. But that monster is genuine. And the entire hood is the entire length of that custom coffin lid. The thing is fiberglass and it's heavy as hell. It takes 2 guys to pop that thing. And the Munsters coach?
Yeah.
Step over the line, sir. Careful with your coffee. This is the original Barris Munsters coach. The only one from the TV and the films we have the actual Munster coach.
So this is the real deal.
It looks a little different because it's well known to the fans that this car was not well maintained. So at some point Barris brought it back into the shop and he did a slight restoration on it to fix some body defects and added the crackle paint job and the tribute stickers. But this is the original hearse made out of 3 Model T Fords and part of a hearse and part of a coffin. The Ford Cobra engine has 10, count them, 10 carburetors, each with a gold-plated exhaust.
And this is a pretty highly replicated vehicle.
Butch Patrick has a custom one that he had made. The one that's in Barris Customs that's been there is the one that Barris made, an updated version with more modern techniques. And I'm working on finding a replacement for our Herman Munster. I want a Herman Munster that looks more like Fred Gwynn for my Branson peeps.
For the Branson peeps. Shout out to the Branson peeps.
So, I've been a big fan of Megaforce since I was a kid. I wish I had the toys, but I didn't get them because I saw it after the release, when the toys were now collectible. So, as I understand it from the fan boards, there were many of these bikes, but the film got their funding canceled near the end of production, and the people that were working on the bikes, their agreement was to get paid after the film wrapped. So when they found out they weren't getting paid, the head of their department said to the guys, grab 10 of the bikes, strip the effects and the fiberglass off of them, and just take them, go. If you're not going to get paid, you're going to get a brand new Suzuki dirt bike for your trouble. So these 10 bikes went off across the desert. So only 2 were known to be still around. There was one that was number 12 that was in a private collection somewhere, and there was number 10. Number 10 was bought and in a museum, and number 12 was no, I'm right the first time. Always remember multiple choice questions. Your first instinct is the correct one. Number 12 was bought and in a museum. Number 10 was bought by some guy in New York and vanished off the face of the earth. When I called up Branson, Missouri, and they told me they had the number 12 bike, I assumed that I had number 10 until I inspected it.
Oh, right here.
Yes.
Number 6.
Number 6. So when they had, I assumed they had number 12 in Branson, I thought I had number 10, but when I saw we have number 6, that means number 10 is currently missing in action. So I found out there are 3 known bikes now instead of 2.
Oh.
And this must be one of the ones that was ridden off into the sunset by the effects team.
Yeah. It's always neat when you find stuff like that as you're just kind of digging around.
And that's part of the fun of my job. I've been here a year and I'm still finding mysteries. Oh, the bike in the back? That is from the Street Hawk television series of the 1980s. 13 episodes,
Never saw
4
it.
models, 30 bikes.
Street Hawk. Wasn't there a Stallone movie called Street Hawks?
No, that's another
Something
one.
Hawks.
Yeah.
Some kind of a
Street
hawk.
was trying to capture the popularity of of Knight Rider
Okay.
because it was a futuristic crime fighting bike. It didn't talk though. It went 300 miles per hour though, with rocket boosters, and it had missiles.
I'm gonna have to look
lasers,
that
all
up.
sorts. It's fun. There's a whole fan base on it. But that is the episode 1 bike, one of 2 of the 30 bikes that were made in existence. There are only 2 left.
Easy Rider?
This is a Harley Davidson Easy Rider replica.
Replica. Okay.
They made, Harley made, I believe, about 300 of these replicas after the popularity of the film, but Peter Fonda only autographed a handful of them, and this is one of those.
No way.
And I've had that authorized.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is a real Peter Fonda autograph.
Now that is cool. Look at that. I love Dick Tracy.
This
is the screen
original
used.
Screen used Breathless Mahoney, 1936 Auburn Speedster, built by George Barris for the film. So it's only the body that is the original car. The inside is a custom Ford V8 engine.
See, I did not realize that George Barris made this.
And here's the engine.
Look at that. That is
As I
cool.
mentioned.
Wow.
A modern V8.
So Madonna would have sat and drove this very car. Oh, there's some pins on
Yes.
here too.
Custom, tribute.
This is so cool, man. I love that movie.
And right next to it, one of the real Magnum PI Ferraris.
The real deal.
Look at the
One
plate,
of
man. Look at the plate.
on the back.
Hawaii.
Oh, there we go. How many of these did they make?
I don't know, but this is one of the ones that Selleck drove, and it's rare to see the top up like this because he usually had the top down because he was very tall, and these are a very small car for a tall man like that. But I have looked inside and I found mustache hairs in here, black mustache hairs. There's enough of Tom Selleck, younger Tom Selleck's DNA to clone a new, younger Magnum PI.
Did you take the black light to this one too?
No, I just, I used to have a mustache, so I know where to look for mustache hairs. How are you? Having a good time? Oh, I'm sorry. We're back on camera. For Harry Potter fans, we have a Harry Potter prop and a Harry Potter car here. If any of you remember the Goblet of Fire, the dance where Hermione is trying to hide in the curtains from Victor Crumb, there's a chandelier in that room.
Yes.
And the chandelier in question is actually this grand chandelier.
That is one of the Potter movies I did not see. I have not seen the entire franchise.
The chandelier is seen in the roof, in the ceiling of the room in question, and it's not focused on, but it's there.
The most replicated car in existence when it comes to movies, Back to the Future.
Yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this was not screen used.
No, this is not one of the original 7, but this is important historically speaking. So, if you want...
Do you realize you're wearing a Doc Brown shirt in front of the DeLorean?
Jumping gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts! That's a lot of gigawatts, yeah.
Okay, historically significant for what reason?
All right, so if you want a DeLorean time machine replica, there's 2 ways to go about it. Either 1, you get your own vintage DeLorean time machine, and then you go online to look at the vast database of knowledge on how to build and replicate the thing. Or 2, if you have the money and you don't want to waste the time yourself, you go to one of the DeLorean time machine replica masters and pay a lot of money for a
replica.
replica built to order.
Yeah.
So This car is a 1981 DeLorean automatic transmission DeLorean, which makes it only 50% accurate out of the gate. But this was built by one of the masters, a gentleman named Bruce Colomb, DeLoreanTimeMachines.com. Maybe I'll get kickback from that, I don't know. Anyway, so I've talked to Bruce, and as I understand it, this is the second one he ever built. And he built this before that knowledge database was available.
Gotcha.
So he built this using screen captures, seeing the film, and behind the scenes magazine articles. So this is on the DIY Back to the Future market. This is a learning step. This is historic.
I say, yeah, true. And it is an 81.
Never invented any time machine.
Yes, or the best line, what was it? Doc, you built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Marty, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, you might as well do it with some style.
It's great.
It's great, Doc.
Give me the trivia.
Yeah. All right, future boy. So who's the president in 1985?
You're quoting part one? When they're in there and Doc runs out?
When he's
Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan?
Ronald Reagan, the actor? Yeah.
I suppose Jane Wilden is the First Lady, and Jack Benny is Secretary Treasury. Did I answer the question?
You answered the question in spades.
And then...
All right. We'll edit that. The original interceptor from Mad Max.
Screen used Mad Max.
The Road Warrior. The TheDailyWoo.
We don't want to show everything here because we want people to show up and pay the admission price and look at some of the other artifacts that are here.
$21.25 per adult, $15.95 for kids age 4 to 12.
Okay.
And there's a senior military discount too. But there's always BOGOs if you caught those coupons. Warner Brothers Films, any hero use Batmobile is unfortunately at Warner Brothers Studios in their private museums.
Right.
The only ones that get off the lot are promotional vehicles and museum props.
Okay.
So this particular Batmobile that says do not touch, this is a screen-used Batmobile from the 1992 Batman Returns featuring Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito. This is the 1989 Warner Brothers promotional vehicle that they used for movie premieres and special events.
Now I've heard from a few people that the 89 Burton Batmobile, whoever owns the rights are like real sticklers.
Yes,
more than some of the other ones.
There's a big list of things you can't do in the Batmobile. DC Comics licensed movie replica.
Okay.
And the big difference is the white outline on the Batman symbol.
So is that the movie one's the shark repellent one?
Yes.
Well, thanks, Robert. Thanks for the look, the backstage, early entry tour, all the facts, the wonderful figures, and we'll do this again sometime. Maybe way down the road you could show me some other stuff.
It would be my pleasure to be the assistant on on the DailyWoo.
Yeah.
Even though I've been I gotta say, can we reverse this on me and you, because
yes.
I want to.
Let me flip this around.
I gotta say this. So Adam, I've been a big fan of yours since you were doing the the blog on AdamTheWoo.com.
Oh, the hard rock song.
What's the ending?
To go on adventures for you. You
right.
Can't say the aw, you know what, son.
Yeah.
Crap, there you go.
Son. Yeah. I love those. I miss those. I watch them whenever I'm down and depressed.
That's old school.
But thank you for letting me be part of this, because I'm a huge fanboy for this man.
I appreciate that.
So you're welcome.
But thank you. You have done a great service to the car museum world by turning the music off, first of all, and letting me walk around and explaining some stories.
And because of you, like you've influenced so many others, I think I'm going to try to start my own vlog.
Okay.
So
there you go.
I'm 50. I might as well start something.
You got to start sometime. That's going to do it for today from Dezerland Park Orlando Auto Museum. Huge special thanks to Robert for getting here early, taking time out of his day, and doing the tour for me. I really didn't have to do much at all. He was very informed and very detailed on his explanations. If you ever come out here and you see him around, say hello and maybe he'll share some info with you as well. Really nice guy, and it was great to have him kind of show me all around. I'll see you in the next video, the vlog. I had a lot of fun today. It was great. And there's so much more, just the tip of the iceberg here at this place. This place is massive. See you in the next video. The vlog is over.